Okay. All right. I'm going to do this in my very high budget, highbrow artist way.
Okay.
My phone is going to be pointing at this phone, and this phone
Fantastic.
will then shoot it out to the rest of the world.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna plug my phone in so my our $2 million technology doesn't fail. There we go. Here we go. All right.
All right. Well, I spared you the embarrassment or me making you blush with my fanboy intro. But I did say I was going to, as part of my intro, give everybody an idea of how I met you and how I met all the other artists. Peregrine was at this party. I was at this party. And everybody kept introducing or telling me to go introduce myself to you because you're this really hot up and coming artist. You were just on TV on Bravo, blah, blah, blah. Now, mind you, it didn't make me want to go up to you anymore because now I'm this shrinking violet of a person in your presence. Yeah, I did. I introduced myself. Not as an artist, but just as a local fanboy, and because I've seen your work in places around Kansas City, and I was finally able to put a face to the brush, and I was floored to be able to have be in the presence of you, have your company. And guess what?
That's so fun.
Yeah, and guess what, Dapple Grey World? Peregrine was so nice and sweet that she stood there talking to me for 30 minutes about herself, which is not a big, hard thing to do with artists. But she was giving me an insight into the artist's mind and talking about her inspirations and why she chose to draw the things she drew. My first question is...
Yeah.
My first question is, what inspires you?
It's always a surprise. That is what's great about being inspired, is that the reason you're inspired is because it's something that surprises you. Like, I'm not always inspired by art. Sometimes I'm inspired by craft or things that I can't make, or jealousy. I'm inspired by, I don't know if it's envy or jealousy, but things that I don't believe that I can acquire the skills to do in my lifetime. Like right now, Will Cotton is doing these amazing paintings of unicorns and cowboys.
Yes.
They are inspiring simply because it's such an excellent trajectory from what he was working on. And I don't even know how his skill set is just phenomenal,
I agree. I was looking at some of his stuff and the softness of which he paints the horse, but also the cowboy does give it a very fanciful feel, like you're peeking into a world that you're not supposed to.
Absolutely, it's extremely voyeuristic, but it also feels like almost like the way that 1970s cigarette commercials kind of felt, like you were looking across the plain at something, like something very rural and inaccessible.
Yeah. My favorite that he has up there is the one where the unicorn has the cowboy pinned down with their horn. That's
amazing.
Again, it's a snapshot in time with our oldest daughter, Sienna, being an equestrian. I know those moments of tension between rider and horse, but still the love that they have and respect that they have for each other.
Right.
And there you can kind of see it in the horse pinning the cowboy down, but still having an appreciation, I guess, in the expression of the horse and in the expression of the cow. It's amazing. Dapple Grey World, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. Will Cotton. Now, beyond inspiration,
Uh-huh.
what do you like to do in your free time when you're not arting around?
Well, I run an underwear store. I run a lingerie store. So that's something super fun that I'm trying to figure out how to navigate. Just restarting a luxury store that's very small. So really one person at a time now, I guess.
Yeah.
So I really like to look at beautiful things. I like to be surrounded by really beautiful things. And like to listen to records.
Yeah.
And it's really fun in this quarantine to sort of have the opportunity to organize and look at my work and my ideas. That's been really fun. And also just like some of these super humbling moments, like I did a really big painting and my dealer's just not selling big paintings. And she's like, I'm running out of storage space. So I have this big painting that I'm going to live with of my own work. And it's just like, it doesn't feel super fun, but it's fun to be like, oh, I get to hire the professional installer to put a piece of my own work in my own home. And that feels very fun and adult. And I like to solve problems. I just rarely get to solve them for myself.
Wow. That's and again, Doppelganger World, this is the kind of sincerity and patience and grace that Peregrine has, that she's giving us a peek into her brain, you know, about what inspires her and what she does to be able to keep her art flame burning. Now, the theme for today is about inspiration and creativity. Obviously, your artwork inspires people. It inspired me to get back into art myself. At the time, I was an accountant in Kansas City, so I was the polar opposite of what is to be inspired. I was having to deal with numbers in a way that kind of kills the human soul.
Yeah.
But your art is very inspirational, very whimsical, very beautiful to look at, and like we've seen in history, some people can take that kind of artistry and interpret it into a certain way. Now, I've read that some of your art pieces can be considered LGBTQ friendly. What does that mean as an artist to paint an image that is just beautiful and be inspirational to a whole community or a group of people?
Well, I wouldn't even say that it's friendly, but it does navigate those conversations. It's interesting when you're making artwork or making images or iconographic things that are not they're not black or white. They're kind of in the gray area. So when you make work in the gray area, like when you say humor, it's true. My work makes people laugh, and the thing to remember when you make people laugh is you're often making them laugh because you're making them face their own fear, like what they're afraid of, what makes them nervous. We laugh out of nervousness, and so humor is based on our fear of how we're perceived, our fear of something tricking us. It's very complicated. What makes us? It's very intimate. What makes us laugh? So, working with transgender bodies, I've had people receive my work really well, but I've also have had people who are very conservative and, in my opinion, closed-minded, be very angry about my work. And I've also had people who are trans be very angry about my work because they feel that it's not my place to make artwork about trans bodies. Because I'm not trans.
Yeah.
And, it's completely... It's interesting that I get kind of resistance from both sides.
Yeah.
So I feel that I'm making work that is having a conversation about all different body types, and we're in a really interesting part of the art history of who owns what. And it's very, very interesting conversation. And it sort of bleeds into music. Like right now in New Orleans, there's a conversation that jazz should be renamed Black American music.
Interesting.
Right? It's really interesting because most of the percussion from jazz is from African music and African instruments.
Yes.
And then it takes European melody, right? They combine those things and it becomes jazz. And so who is permitted to perform jazz or who has the right to jazz? It's really interesting. And it's the same thing with making a conversation about gender and sexuality, which are both things that make people nervous and laugh.
Yeah.
So, like, I know that my intentions are not benevolent because I am an artist. My intention to make things is not just to create peace and complacency. In fact, in a lot of ways, making art, you are not obligated to be an activist. It's very important to me in this genre of social practice to also be aware that you should be kind and you should be careful and you should learn, but you're not obligated to talk about politics or vote a certain way. And it's really interesting because when I was young, I had a lot of early success. And this is an interesting moment, and I think I don't think it is. It's relevant because I would make work, and then my work would be compared to the Ikachili or Yoshito no Manara, and or somebody, Marcel Zama, right? And then I would get this kind of, and she's a feminist. Well, clearly, I would advocate for my gender, and clearly, I believe that men and women should be paid equal for their work.
Yes.
But those artists, contemporary artists, are not, because they are men, they're not called feminists. So it's interesting when you become kind of this token person, and they can throw that word into the conversation, which assumes your vote, assumes so many things about you based on your gender. Now, I am in collections, like I'm in the National Museum of Women in the Arts, but I will not put myself in all-female shows.
Interesting. Okay.
Because I have been in plenty of shows that were all male.
Yeah.
Except for me. And they weren't called all male shows except for Peregrine. So when I'm asked to be in all female shows, I politely decline.
Wow, okay. That's interesting. And again, sticking to the theme about inspiration, you were talking about how, all of this is either inspires either love or hate. It's incredible that art can do that. Particularly,
art is amazing.
Yeah.
I was talking yesterday with my friend Justin, and it's like, listen to this, Eddie. Like, how much money do you think that the arts brings into North America? Just artists.
I don't know. A lot, I'm sure. If
$895 billion.
Wow.
That's how much we generate.
Wow.
That's how powerful we are.
Yeah.
We're more powerful than sports. We're more powerful than politics. We are the most powerful thing that is individually based.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
I feel special now.
You are.
I'm gonna go to Washington and demand my my stimulus money then.
Yeah, I want a bigger stimulus check.
Wow. Okay. So that's a great way to put the things into perspective about how we can take our anger, our anxieties, our love, every word imaginable to describe the human condition, and use it to make art, to inspire art, and then therefore maybe even greater other things. I've heard
Oh,
athletes,
100%.
yeah, I've heard athletes be
100%.
inspired by artists to do their own jobs, sporting around.
Right.
Wow.
And also just like, I think it's inspiring to hold on to your sense of worth and also educate other artists. It doesn't matter age, gender, race, nothing.
Yeah.
About their worth, like how, especially right now, this really emotionally complicated time, to remind each other, like, hey, like your time is so worthwhile. Time might feel different, but it's still your time.
Yes. Yes. Wow, that's amazing. Now that we got through the heady stuff, let me ask you the most important question the Dapple Gray family has been dying to know.
Yes.
How is Beignet?
Beignet! Do you want to go see him?
Sure. If he doesn't mind, I don't want to impose on anybody's personal space. Look at that
he's wearing
guy.
a bow tie today. Wants to say hi.
Oh, fancy
he
boy.
Loves a pandemic because we never leave, right?
Oh.
Hi.
He gets all the walks and pets.
Yeah, he does. Good boy.
I talk about Beignet all the time at one of our Art at Your Fingertips classes. I was teaching, I think, a kindergarten class, and I used Beignet as my live model.
He's such a good live model. Look at him.
Yeah, look at him. He's already, he knows.
He's tired.
Yeah, he knows. An artist knows when they're in demand.
He's so cute. Yeah, he's 10 now. Yeah, he's 10 years old. He's actually, Mike is recording these songs at a recording studio. So basically he's just been walking around whining and crying because he loves me, but he likes Mike more. It's fine.
So sweet.
Yes. And this is what I've been working on. I'll show you my painting.
Oh, yes, please. Wow, look at that, everybody. Look at those colors. Cool?
So this is my friend, and he is a harp player. He's African and Scottish.
Okay.
And he is wearing this crazy outfit. And then I'm really happy with the way these shoes have turned out because he was like, I really want my Scottish roots to be a part of this.
Yeah.
And he's great. And I like this sort of rainbow flag going on.
Yeah. And
I've been working on these roses today. And his earrings.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. Now, do you mind telling us what media you're using there?
I'm working with oil.
Uh-huh.
Which is a pain in the ass.
Oh, yes it is. Yes it is.
It's so annoying. I hate it so much. Just because it's like the alchemy of insanity. Like, oil never really dries, and so you have all these opportunities to change and clean off and wipe down, but for that reason it's also got this weird thing where it's like if you take anything and you cast it in bronze, all of a sudden it's really important.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing with oil. It's like you could paint the most mundane thing, and if you paint it in an oil painting, it's an oil painting. And so you're kind of obligated to just all of these amazing master painters.
Yeah.
You're thrown into the mix with all these people. Acrylic, you're it's a little bit more you're painting with acrylic. It dries. You can cover it up. Oil does not let you do that shit.
Yeah.
You know? It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting. It'll move overnight and shift around and do these. It's got its own life.
Yep. I've had to deal with the pains of the oils thinking they are alive and on their own and living in my world, or actually me living in their world.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I think I have one more question from our audience here. What is your favorite color? The most existential question to ever ask an artist, right?
I really like it's called Celadon Green.
Okay.
It's like this really milky, gray green.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like that color.
All right. Well, I won't advise any of the kids out there to try to make their milk look green, but
They can just a tiny drop of food
just
coloring.
a tiny drop of food coloring, right? Peregrine Honig, everybody, silent cheer! Yay!
Bye, you guys. Have a great day. Stay safe.
Thank you so much. You stay safe too, and we'll be collaborating soon, I hope.
Woohoo!
Yay!
Thanks, Eddie.
Take care.
Me too.
Wow, everybody. That nice long interview with Peregrine Honig.